Russian barbarians have again targeted civilians, this time the residents of Sumy. Putin's troops shelled an ordinary settlement. 3 people, including a 6-year-old boy, were killed. 3 other children are wounded. Blocks of flats and civilian infrastructure were destroyed, and this is just one of many attacks carried out last night. I looked at the street. Fire was everywhere. People were screaming, running away. I ran out of my apartment and tried to help somehow. Sumy, located in northeastern Ukraine, is a frequent target of criminal Russia, which ruthlessly attacks ordinary residents. I would see this as an option to terrorize the civilian population in some way, an attempt to intimidate the civilian population. Here we see another stage of this terror policy. We see exactly from the beginning of the conflict in Ukraine that the Russians are trying to terrorize the civilian population this way. And you don't negotiate with terrorists. Ukrainian military intelligence, security service, and armed forces have carried out spectacular attacks over the Black Sea. Using naval combat drones, they managed to destroy 2 Russian Su-30 multi-role fighters, each worth $50 million. This is further proof that the leaders or forerunners of the modern drone battlefield are the Ukrainians, who improvise a lot. These drones have proven to be a kind of substitute for more expensive means of destruction. Missiles, rockets, mortar grenades. These are the methods of frontline combat the Russians are used to, but the Ukrainians took advantage of the element of surprise. This is a very big novelty. The Ukrainians have been trying for a long time, working to combine unmanned drones with guided anti-aircraft missiles. They can cause a very unpleasant surprise for the Russians, namely launching anti-aircraft missiles. What is also important is that these are missiles guided by infrared and therefore by the heat generated by the aircraft. These types of fired missiles do not activate the warning systems of the aircraft. Previously, no one had eliminated enemy machines in such a way. This is another attack that confirms that the asset of the Ukrainian defense, first of all, are surprise attacks. And here I am talking about 2 assets. Firstly, the military intelligence of Ukraine performs on the territory of the Russian Federation or on the back of the front line, sometimes spectacular operations. And the second matter, drone warfare. It is thanks to drones that the Ukrainian military can attack deep inside Russia, not only in the enemy's border regions, but, much to Putin's dismay, even inside Moscow. Ukrainians are using drones to destroy Russian refineries or weapons depots, supplying equipment to the barbaric army. This is a new and increasingly effective way of fighting. Ukraine is strong, and we will prove it as long as this war continues. We can attack, we can defend ourselves, but we also look forward to peaceful solutions, and we are open to negotiations. But the Kremlin doesn't want peace. That's why the White House is preparing a new package of economic sanctions on criminal Russia. They will especially affect the banking sector, and they will be painful, the new U.S. administration argues. If the force of argument doesn't appeal to Putin, then perhaps the argument of force will.
Ukraine-Russia, the war, because Mark wants it ended as quickly as I do. I think it has to end.
Ukraine has already accepted U.S. terms, but Putin has no intention of getting off the path of war.